Welcome back, Tanner Walker, Hyper Movement Practice. Today, I'm going to answer a question from Marko on what is the total overall volume you should have in a movement practice. How much should you practice? He said this is one of the most confusing and unanswered questions he has had. And it's true. And that's mostly because it's context dependent, like everything in the movement practice is, which makes it really hard to give content in a way for people. So, big picture, movement practice, right? It would be awesome if we could be practicing and aware that we're practicing all the time, right? That would be in my mind, the big end game goal is for every moment to be practice. Now, reality. We have movement practice, right? We have training, right? And like the actual sessions. So, total volume of sessions. How many sessions should you do, right? How many hours a day should you practice? As much as you can. I think is probably the easiest answer for everyone. But that is going to change seasonally, weekly, motivationally, often. Having a diverse practice is what allows you to practice for these large amounts of time, right? Even if you were to go to the Shaolin Temple in China and you wanted to study Shaolin Kung Fu, 12 hours a day, right? It's full on. If you play high school football, right, you go do 2-a-days in the summer and you have double practices, right? Sports, college sports are all, minimum 2 to 3 hour practices, and then you have a weight room after that. So, athletes, and if you ever play even young kids' sports games are still 2 hours, right? It's 2 hours, I would see as like a minimum in a day that you should probably be practicing. And if that's as simple as walking, you should probably walk for 2 hours a day. Total. Add it up all throughout. But that's the low end. If you're awake for 16 hours, if some people can work for 16 hours a day, you can't practice that long, but we like practice. So that's what I mean. It's up to you. I don't track time. I don't go, I need to practice 6 hours today. It's like, if I get to practice 6 hours a day, I am so stoked. That is awesome. That's what I want to be doing. So that's usually what I'm trying to encourage people to do, is build their motivation and build that fire so that they actually want to practice. They're going to force someone to practice a lot. But that's what's already good, is starting to expand the box of moving at a lower intensity, right? It's like everyone only gives themselves an hour a day, if that, to go exercise, right? You're just forced to cram, and it's just low quality. It's not good all around, just to only have 1 hour to practice. Like, if that's all you got, that's all you got. You do what you can. But I think it would even be better to just go 1 minute of focus and do that 70 times throughout your day than to go and try and think that there's just this, if I go to the gym for this magical hour, I can check that box and now I'm good. Like, I don't think using the hours, the metric, is the best metric. So, how much volume depends on, as an old post from Ido, is like how much ever you can afford. Like, what are you trying to do? Like, do you want to learn a one-arm chin-up, a one-arm handstand, and locomotion, and you also want to do jiu-jitsu? Great. That's going to take a lot of time. That's going to be a lot of practice. Versus someone's like, I don't know, I just want to practice, but I have a job. Cool. We're going to start that person somewhere totally else. So, my sister, for example, just started training with me. She has 3 sessions a day. They're mini sessions, right? They don't take very long, but it's so that you can start doing different subjects, right? Or you can start to practice different things, and it becomes movement practice, not exercise, right? She has a training session, right? But then she just has some basic body protocols, joint mobility, moving type of stuff, right? So that's what I think a lot of people need to do, is actually do as much volume as possible, but doesn't need to be intense, right? Walk, stretch, sit in a squat, go hang, play catch, etc. A lot of that low movement. How many movement sessions you can do, right, depends on your life. Are you 25 years old with a lot of free time? Or are you 40 with 3 kids and a husband and you're running a business? Right? That's like, in which case, I think that person can still move. It's more about now, guess what? You have other people that are going to have to be involved because your life is involved with other people. So maybe that is doing things with your kids. Maybe you do a capoeira class with them, or you do a jiu-jitsu class with them, or you just go outside and everyone's playing and training, and you're an adult working on handstands while your kid's on the trampoline. I think that's awesome. More movement for everyone. Doesn't matter your age. When I was a kid, we went outside and played till it got dark or past, right? There was no like, oh, I'm going to ride my bike for an hour. Okay, now I'm going to skateboard for an hour. Okay, now let's go climb trees. It was like, just go outside for 6 hours and do whatever. You're just gone. And that's what I think people need to get back to. Now you just realize, as an adult, you don't have to just like dick around. You can actually invest that time into practice. If you want to learn a handstand, right, I would tell people you need to practice 5 or 6 days a week. We're going to put an hour in 5 or 6 days a week into the sessions to learn that skill, if that skill is important to you and you want to get it in a reasonable time frame. If they don't have that time, what time do you got? You got 3 days? 30 minutes? Okay, that's what we're putting in. Okay. But now you have these other goals too. Oh, wait, so that's your total time, but you also want to do these other, you also want to learn to juggle, and you're trying to get stronger, and you want to run a marathon. It was like, oh, shit. Okay. So I always treat people as like, here's your time pie. This is the total time you have in a week. What do you want to put in? Right? It's up to you. And then from there, we can figure out how to slice that up for you. If people have a bigger appetite, they have a lot more they're trying to accomplish, then they're going to have a lot more training, right? Someone has a smaller appetite, right? They just really want to learn handstand. I want to have some basic strength and mobility, right? And I can reasonably put in whatever, 60 to 90 minutes. Then that's where people start. And then maybe they find out over time, I whisper in their ear, hey, you got another 30 minutes? This is really cool. And then they slip that in later in the day. And eventually people find out, like, if you can spend hours watching YouTube or watching Netflix or anything else, just realize that's hours that you could have put into the handstand practice, and then you might be handstanding, and then you don't have to do those. Now I get all those hours back. I used to spend so much time handstand practice, but I don't have to because I have my handstand, and it's not my main goal right now. If I wanted to get really deep into one-arm handstands, I'm going to have to allocate a lot more volume to that training. For me now, it's like with my work, with my travel, etc., my goals, how much can I get in? When can I get it in? And it's ever changing. I don't think there's, I like the term going medieval with it, like as much as possible. I just try and get back into my practice, and it's like the timeless place, where as soon as I'm back, and I try and just stay there. So throughout my day, if I can drop into that like no time place, that's awesome too. And for me, a big part of it is motivation. If you have these big things pulling you, that will make it easy to put in the time. Like people learning handstands, once you start really wanting it and realizing the time you need to put in, you do put in that time, right? You'll pay the price. But people need to just know, okay, this is what you want. This is the price to be paid. And I think every little goal has a different price, and that's that. And people either pay it or they don't. So being realistic, but if you have big goals, it's going to probably take a lot of time. And with that time, it's probably going to take a lot of resources, as far as like if I'm training a lot, I'm going to need to recover a lot, right? Which is going to take nutrients, right? It's going to take sleep, de-stressing, etc. So it's all up to the person. It still is. It's like contextual, but doesn't matter if the person has Parkinson's, right? They're just starting out, or they've been training for 2 decades. The same thing is, I think we all want to be more aware and enjoy moving our bodies for as long as possible. So that includes throughout the day, not just your life. It's like, I don't just want to be moving a long time when I'm 90. I want to be moving a long time today. So I think I'll leave that there. That's my answer on volume. More, and not more in fitness and not more in training, more in like awareness practice of movement, whether that's official practice, unofficial practice, learning skills, or simply researching and playing, exploring. I think it's good. I think you should do more of it. And that's my opinion on volume. Hope that answers your question. I hope this video saves. Come on, photo booth. See y'all next time.